Welcome everyone into the post Super Bowl edition of the Hooley Brothers podcast, coming at you on a Wednesday night, a few days after the big game. Mike, how you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Happy belated Valentine's.
Yeah, I think we have.
Too.
Yeah. I know. I think we might have a bit of a delay here, so I don't even know how to best to navigate this. But yeah, obviously, again, the big event of the weekend obviously was the Rihanna. The Super Bowl where Rihanna and special guest that time. We'll get to them in a bit. But I think on the surface, there's a lot of things to go out in this game. But I think, probably I'm trying to think back. Probably the best game. Well, last year's was pretty good, but probably the best game overall since the past loss to the Eagles, right? It's been kind of like, again, last year's pretty good. A few kind of like, maybe not. Actually, no, the Niners game was close. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. We've had good Super Bowls. Good back and forth, kind of get into everything moving forward here.
Yeah, it was a really amazing game. It was clearly the two best teams. Let me try something here. Let me try to share a Chrome tab.
Yeah, we're now as we've shifted providers here. We might now have some screen sharing capabilities. So while Mike figures that out, yeah, I think you
gotta see something.
Nailed it here. Yep. Yeah, I see the box score right here.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously 38-35. It's tough too because it's a game and this isn't even a slight on Mahomes, but just from like a number standpoint, Jalen Hurts did outperform him, as far as, and that's really just more of, it shows how good both of them are in this game in different ways. But I guess we'll start with the winners here. Obviously, the Chiefs win 38-35. Patrick Mahomes gets his second Super Bowl in 5 years as a starter, second in the last 4 years overall. I think we do need 3, but again, if they could pull one together next year, I think we are talking a potential dynasty here. But really just an impressive performance from the Chiefs in this game, and really the second half specifically. But there's so many places to start here, but something I'm going to get with, and I definitely want to give the Chiefs their flowers, but I think the thing that sets it up overall is the Eagles looked good in the first half, but I think and I know the Jalen Hurts fumble didn't help the matter, but they really could have extended the lead and made it a lot more difficult for the Chiefs to come back, because it ended up being just a 10-point deficit in a first half where it seemed like the Eagles were really dominating them for the most part.
Yeah, even just looking at the drives here, there was only really one drive where they were kind of completely shut down and went 3 and out, because even on the fumble touchdown, they got a couple first downs, and the main difference there was on 3rd and 1 when they're gonna get the automatic QB sneak. They had the false start, push it back to the 3rd and 6 where they went into a passing play, and that caused the fumble 6. So you kind of blinked and it was like, wow, like I can't believe it's 14-14 right now. And then an immediate great answer by Hurts with the 75-yard touchdown drive after. And then once you're able to force the punts and get Mahomes limping and you sneak in the field goal, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. But at the same time, you're kind of like, get the Chiefs at the ball for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
They're getting the ball after the break, and if Mahomes looks healthy, I think they're good. So
yeah, and exactly, that's the thing too. Yeah.
Like, they didn't really miss too many opportunities. It was really just a fumble touchdown. Like, granted, you could have argued that half goes a little bit differently if they end up driving all the way down the field. Like, if it enters, what time they have 2-minute drill? Like, maybe if they don't feel the pressure of having to score within 2 minutes, like they get those like 3 minutes back, then you can kind of go into like a 5-minute offense. Maybe the Chiefs kind of do a methodical drive and score a touchdown at the tie game at the half. I don't know. You could imagine anything right now, but yeah, you kind of just were looking around and like, like if they answer pretty quickly, that could be in some trouble here. And
yeah,
I think it came down to like truly these 2 drives for Philly was 17 plays, 60 yards, 7.5 minutes, and only coming out with that field goal and that type of game where the over was always on pace and went early. A field goal felt like a punt.
Yeah, you're talking like, so their first drive of or I guess only drive of the third quarter. I don't know if they got the ball back after that. But yeah, the Chiefs obviously was 24-14. They scored to make it 24-21. I know what you mean. That was like a really long drive. It felt empty. It definitely felt empty. It helped that they were up 10, so it was still like they had the 6-point lead, which changed some of the math online. Obviously was better. But yeah, it didn't feel good. It felt like you probably had a bad taste in your mouth just coming away with 3 there. But yeah, I mean, you talk about
especially when God, it's nice having the play-by-play up to kind of remind us. On 3rd and 9 at the 42, they took the delay of game and ended up completing 17-yard play on that amazing catch by Goddard. And then later on, once they got in the red zone, they took the timeout on 2nd and 11 just to check it down and take the field goal. And that timeout, as you know, at the end of the game would have been pretty nice to have, and where Hurts would have had like 50 seconds to get the field goal range, then alone 10. So it seems like if like Sirianni did a great thing not burning a timeout just to do it later and not even throw beyond the sticks.
And I know that was a topic of discussion I know on sports radio this week, and I definitely agreed with it. Right? I mean, it's something that I think we see a lot of coaches do, and I know Dad always jokes, but I mean I agree with him. They're just so valuable in the second half that. Yeah, it's funny because even on the riskier one there, where it was, what did you say, it was 3rd and 9, right? When he took it, or when he didn't take it, he took the 5 yards. Even in a situation like that, it's worth it, where you're really making it complicated there. But yeah, I mean that changes the game for the most. I mean, it's still probably really hard for Philly to come back with 50 seconds and that, but it's a lot better, 8 seconds or whatever it ended up being, one or 6 and one big play, whatever it ended up being. So, 40 to 50 seconds makes a huge difference than, single digits there. So, maybe Hurts can make a few passes, get you even for a long Jake Elliott field goal to try to send this thing to overtime. It did, change a lot of stuff, and we'll kind of get to the end of the game in a bit here. But decisions like that, I mean, because you said it looked so smart there, and then kind of head scratching, like, okay, you didn't there. And then on a second down, you take it. It just like, you'd think it'd be consistent one way or the other there, especially, keeping your timeouts. So that was something that definitely cost them. But you're right. I mean, just quickly going back to the first half, I mean, yeah, that fumble play did, it changed so much but even with that, 24-14 going into half, it just didn't seem like enough with, it's like you needed to take more advantage while the Chiefs were down. They didn't have their best first half of football in the time that they did have it. And then obviously Mahomes goes down with that, that leg injury for a bit. I feel like you needed at least, and I'm not even just saying because it ended up being a 3-point game. I think you needed like a 13, 14-point lead at that point to maybe feel a little bit better at halftime. I mean, ideally, like 17, you don't let up that touchdown at all. And I know things kind of play out differently if that's the case. But it just seemed like 10 was like, okay, like she's getting the ball back to start the half, so that could quickly be 3, which it ended up being. It just seemed like they really needed to like stomp with their throats so they were down. And the Chiefs obviously came out firing. And I know a big thing that's come out in the last couple of days was that basically, let's say none of the Chiefs saw the Rihanna concert. Let's put it that way, because Andy Reid said if you say that, just stay out there because you're not coming back in the game, essentially. So the team was focused, and it seemed like that's probably one time where that extended halftime really helped, because he obviously let Mahomes get that extra treatment. Because he had been off the field for the last minute or so anyway, or I can't remember how long it was in the first half, but gave him a lot of time to recover. And he came a different player in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know, just to echo, they only had 4 drives. Of course, they marched on the field in the first drive, but then kind of stalled out with the doink, and then 2 straight punts. So they didn't really have anything. And I think the most impressive part of that original drive is that you're thinking, like Mahomes this, Mahomes that, but just looking, I think their entire backfield did a great job. Like, Pacheco had some big runs to start. I think.
Yeah, you want to bring that up quick?
Yeah, I got
their stats. Oh, you got to look at the drive. I meant like the stats.
We can do that
later. Yeah.
McKinnon had a big 14-yard carry on 3rd and 1 because, like, it would have been pretty demoralizing if they got stopped on 3rd and 1 when it's so easy for Philly to get it. And then Sky Moore had a carry. More McKinnon, he picked up. Like, it was just a lot of McKinnon, Pacheco, and Sky Moore, just guys like that. And they kind of just like jammed down their throat and got down the field in about, like 5.5 minutes. So I thought that getting everyone involved on this drive is key. So
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
yeah, and then getting
Because
guys
this is when
going.
it's 20,
This is the drive to get
2020
him. Yeah, to get into the fourth quarter where again this is more Pacheco. So
to
like
put them up
9 yard
one.
carries, 11 yard carries. Juju had some big catches here, like an 8 yard catch, 14 yard catch.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of just getting everyone involved, especially like Juju. I think McKinnon was the MVP of this drive, and this was all Juju. I mean, people are calling him
Yeah.
TikTok boy now, but I think he
Yeah.
just really
We'll
showed
get to him in a bit.
3 ginormous catches on this drive, and then at the end we got into the Kadarius Toney show with corn dog.
Mm-hmm. Corn dog. I mean, two straight plays from offense slash then receiving on special teams. But yeah, again, yeah, because that misdirection seemed to be giving Philly fits all day, or all night, I guess. But yeah, I mean, like you said, great drive, great pieces. I mean, Mahomes used the tools around him for sure. Pacheco and McKinney, you mentioned their efforts. Juju had a good game too. Yeah, then running the misdirection first with Toney, and then later again they get the stop there, up one to and then set themselves easily to go up 8 after a really bad line drive punt from Philly, where Toney takes it, takes him into the red zone and then run it the other way for Sky Moore. So before you knew it, it was like 14 points from the Chiefs, in a very quick span there, and then obviously,
And I
yeah,
think
go
I
ahead.
saw, I think it was Orlovsky talking about it. It was this 3rd and 3 where I know the Eagles went 3 and out, then the short line drive punt. But I thought I heard in the
Mhm.
game anything it was like 3rd and 3 or less in that game. I think they were already like 7 for 7, and
Yeah,
all 7 times they were running the ball, and they
yeah,
decided to pass. And I think it was Willie Gay just kind of just disrupted the entire play and caused a throwaway. It was Willie Gay and Carlos Dunlap. So
mm-hmm.
it was just like you guys were dominating the ball today. So it was another kind of head scratcher by either Sirianni or Steichen. I'm not sure
Yeah,
who's exactly calling the plays. And then boom, line drive
mm-hmm.
punt, 3rd and goal, another corn dog, and it's just you're down by 8 pretty quickly, and the game was in your control. And then
Yeah.
kind of even like sometimes Mahomes can pull up crazy plays like back in the day, like just throwing a deep ball to Hill, whereas this was just sort of just nickel and
Chipping
dime
away.
things,
Yeah.
special teams, just doing the little things. And I think this is like kind of the thing they've lacked the last 2 years, where they haven't been able to get over that hump, losing to Brady and Burrow. So it just
Mm-hmm.
kind of showed some resilience and just doing the little things right that kind of can get lost in the flashy offense that the Chiefs have had ever since Mahomes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you kind of mentioned the different pieces there um working out well. But I mean like you mentioned, like I think Hurts, I mean, we'll get to the kind of the whole dominance of the Chiefs offensive line, but I think Hurts is only one technical sack was when he like ran out of bounds for a 1 yard loss. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, like he was gaining yards all night. Like whether it's a
Yeah.
drawn up like dive, bush push situation that they ran over and over again, or a drop back run. Like he was really having his way with that. I mean, again, one of the few bets I won on the night was the Hurts over rushing yards. But yeah, it is kind of head scratching that on 3rd and 3 or less that they ended up putting the ball in the air at that point, and which is really what set up that bad punt, and then Tony obviously putting him in a good spot to go up 8 there, and that's another thing too. There was some talk, and I don't know. I get like the payoff, but I mean, I'm always going to want to make a team go for 2 there, right? Like get your 8, go up 8. I'm not trying to go for 9 or 7. Going for 9 at the risk at making it 7. I think Kansas City made the right call going for 2 there. I don't know what you think, or going for 1 there to make it an 8-point game.
Yeah, I mean, especially that late, or if you like, I guess there's 5 minutes left, but you never know if you go for 2 and you don't get it. You're kind of already getting like the weird scores in your head. Like, what if Sirianni's like, you know what, I'm gonna go for 2 now. What if they get it? Like, then you're down by 1. Like,
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So you better just going up 8, make them make that play, because
yeah.
I mean, Hurts was awesome, but I mean, how many times like do you see that and it's just like it's demoralizing? Like, all right, now we're down 2, versus just like an easy walk in. Basically like for the most part. I mean, at that point, like Jake Elliott's probably not missing an extra point, so I do think that was the right decision. And then, I mean, what an answer from Jalen Hurts. I mean, we talked about Mahomes and I'll kind of, we'll talk about that final drive, kind of give him a lot of flowers on that one too with Mahomes. But the last drive that Jalen Hurts had the ball, I mean, that pass to Devontae along the sideline, I know it looked like he might have been able to. I was watching some people here and like, oh, he couldn't stay in bounds. I'm like, hey, I mean, he's not that heavy. He probably just the ball kind of carried him out there. But I mean, a great throw, and then he really just took it over from there. Got that octopus. I know that was a big a big bet this week that I think people discovered for the first time. Only been around for a few years now, but man, I mean, that play was just working all night. Hurts gets in for the touchdown, and then Hurts gets in for the 2-point conversion. Really, it was the 2-point for two. I think he was stopped for a second. I think he had to kind of keep.
Those all legs, yeah.
Yeah, that 600-pound squat going into the end zone, and I don't know. I mean, you joke about the whole too much time for Patrick Mahomes thing. You almost wish you gave him a little more time, if we're going to be honest, because that ended up being there. And something I really want to give Mahomes credit on. I'll let you speak to him, Mike. But I was saying this too. It's like it's only impressive that he can lead that drive, but he took up pretty much every second you possibly could. You think if you're the Eagles, 5:15, like okay, Mahomes, he's probably going to come away with either 3 or 7 here. But we'll have some time. We're gonna get the ball back with maybe a minute left or something. He the Dinkin and Duncan, the first down, it was almost like when he was going for that run. I'm like, it was even better for Philly that he got all the way to where he did, because otherwise, if he got down to like the 20-25, it would have made that even more guaranteed. I think that they get another first down and really maybe even walk off with the field goal versus what ended up being like a few seconds left. But I really have to give Mahomes credit for, not only getting down the field and putting his team in an easy field goal situation, but taking up all that time while doing so.
Yeah, I mean, even just it's a good play calling. I mean, they chose to ran the ball a couple times. They kind of designed some plays for Juju for 10 yards, and even this Kelsey 7-yard catch. That was a tight end flat. That was mainly yak. And then on that 3rd and 1, I loved that the kind of sweep they did to Pacheco, where he picked up 10 yards, but if Garner Johnson didn't kind of hit him really hard, he was he was the only man to beat. So, I mean, that was definitely could argue that Mahomes just picked it up in his legs the next play, but I'm sure heard the quote after he was like, "Yeah, that play was easy because I could just run straight. There was no cutting." That's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I had to give him a lot of credit for that, and then also. I guess we can kind of get to it now. I mean, he made a lot of big completions on that drive, and then again, we got to talk about the whole was it right, was it not right thing. Obviously, the pass to Juju where there was the defensive holding play. You kind of saw that ball in the air, and for a second, you're like, okay, all right, we're gonna have a field goal here, and Hurts is gonna get the ball back, and then you see that yellow on him. It was either PI or holding, and it just I don't know. I mean, I want to get your thoughts on the situation, but either way, I think you have to admit, no matter what side of the aisle you're on in this, unless you're again a hardcore Chiefs fan, obviously, whether it was the right call or not, it did rob us of a really good ending. You know what I mean? It was a great game, and you got 3 points there, but we really could have seen Jalen see if he could do it, right? Get them into at least field goal range to tie this thing up and send it to overtime.
Yeah, because I think my first reaction watching live, kind of slightly rooting for the Chiefs. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe they just threw an incompletion. They didn't have to waste their last timeout. I'm like 2 minutes and a timeout. The Eagles are winning this thing in regulation. That was in my head.
Yeah.
So, and then because if they say they just kind of if Mahomes just took a sack there and they kicked the field goal, I think the Eagles had another timeout and were able to kind of have 50 seconds. So if we're talking about a minute, I would have loved to see Hurts okay, can you do this? A minute left, no timeouts. Can you get your team in field goal range? I think at the end of the day, night of, I was like, well, that stunk, anticlimactic, you got robbed.
Yeah.
Ball, the heat of stuff, kind of Samuel Olsen, but as more times passes, the more replays you get, hearing quotes from the people who are actually on the field, you kind of have to say, all right, I think it was the right call. There's some pretty big still images on 2 separate occasions on that play where you can see a hold, and I guess the argument was that they weren't really calling that all night. But at a certain
Yeah.
point, you can only let a guy get away with it so much. Like, I think there were a couple other occasions where it was Bradbury on Juju. They're massive holds like earlier on the drive or on other drives in the second half, where it's like, okay, this guy has been grabbing him the entire game. Yeah, at a certain point, you got to throw a flag. So you kind of
Yeah.
can see both sides. I think it's more of just disappointment that they didn't really have a chance to retaliate, and they could sort of just milk out the clock, especially with the smart play by McKinnon getting down to the 2 and sliding. He could have really, really iced it if he was able to get that first down. But I
Right.
guess nothing. I think he tried to get to the one, but then once he realized he didn't want to have his momentum slide him into the end zone. I'm
Yeah.
also shocked that Philly didn't try to Jesse Jeff him into the end zone. So
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there's a few points there that are worth. I think I feel the same way as you did. Like the night of, I was like, they literally like gave them this game. They made it just so easy for them to win. I mean, but I mean, you'd like to see Phil get a chance. And then, yeah, you think about it more. And I try not to look too much at slow motion replays because I'm like, all right, well, even you have to do that heat at the moment. But even then, on the regular motion replays, you do see it there. And there's a reason Mahomes threw that ball, right? He didn't throw it to the other field. He threw it where Juju was never going to catch that ball, given exactly where he threw it, but it was in his vicinity. Made that a bit, harder to not call. I mean, it's tough. I still think, like you said, and I think a good point is how they've been calling it all game. And I'm not saying that the one thing, it's just so tough because it's like you should, I guess, call a play the same no matter what the quarter is. But I think being consistent to the game, right? Same thing like balls and strikes, right? If you're calling a ball like on the high end of the zone, and then the pitch is in the same spot an inning later, and you're calling it a strike, it's like there's just inconsistency there. But it does just suck because, like, again, maybe it was. I mean, Mahomes is really the one, but like, if no one says anything, like, are we looking like if it's not from Mahomes? Say he doesn't throw his arm up in the air and they don't throw a flag. They're like, are we talking about that the next day getting called the other way? I don't know. So I think that's what's difficult about it. But, yeah, go
I
ahead.
mean, I think they would be. Let's say they
Depends on the
didn't
outcome,
call
probably.
it. If they didn't call it and Philly wins, they're gonna be outrage on KC being like. I get slow motion replays where you can see a little tug, but I think a still image I kind of can put in like real action because like you can see like okay at that point there was a jersey tug.
Mm-hmm.
Once a jersey tug still image, I can kind of be like okay like that's something you have to call.
Yeah.
So that picture would have been like all over Kansas City Twitter and
it's so tough just because of like the moment it was in. And I get it. Like I mean, I get why people can go see that's like a dumb argument. Like okay, like we call it on the first, but not the fourth, and I do. And what's funny? Like I was actually like at the gym Monday morning, and sometimes like we'll just like walk on the treadmill at points. This isn't a brag at all. And I'm just like walking, and I'm like, oh well, it's like around the time where Get Up comes on. I'm like, let me throw it on just see what people are saying. And it was actually funny because the defensive players, two deep defensive backs and a linebacker, Ryan Clark, Dominique Foxworth, and Bart Scott all thought it was holding, and Dan Orlovsky, the quarterback, is the one that said it should have been called. So it's a little ironic there that people on opposite sides of the ball kind of thought the other way around. But yeah, I mean, I think it was just one of those that it sucked that happened in the situation. And I just want to come out and say, like, oh, enough to people like whining. I'm like, I just wanted a good game. And sure, I did have Philly in the game, and I wanted that to happen. But it really just I'm not saying like anyone. I think, yeah, I thought the Eagles got cheated. Now I don't think they got cheated. I think it was just like, damn, that ending could have been really good if that didn't happen. So that's like really where I'm at now. I kind of agree with you. Where it's like, yeah, night of, you're just like livid. You're like, thanks, refs, like all this stuff, and then you take a step back. You sleep on it, and it's really more just like, damn, I really wish we could have had that final legit drive from Philly.
yeah, because like right now, all I'm thinking about is like I think all year the Eagles fans love their team and their coaching staff was making all the right calls, but every fan was like, I don't know, there's something about the coaching staff. Like I think they all hated Gannon. They all thought Sirianni was a little weird, but I think you could really say like the timeout management, not making any adjustments on defense, and even like I don't go back to the play-by-play, but there was after like the Mahomes run, I think they gave it to Pacheco once, and it was 2-minute warning, a check down to Juju for like 0 yards, a timeout, and then the penalty. I'm assuming that during those timeouts, the entire Chiefs sidelines was like, okay, if you're inbounds going for a touchdown, if you get that first yard of the one, get down. Like they're probably enforcing all like the scenarios during all those timeouts. Or I think if I'm on the coaching staff for the Eagles, the one thing be like, hey, if you're burnt, get burnt.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, that's exactly it. Yeah.
So I just feel like just a couple like little things like in a Super Bowl, you have to be 100% perfect. Like you can't make any mistakes, or you just have to make sure you make a couple less mistakes. And when the teams are this good, and again, they're the two best teams in football this year, something that nitpicky is the difference between a ring and a non.
I know it sucks. It sucks that it kind of got down to that, that position there. But you bring up a good point. That's another thing too. It's like, it's so tough, right? Like, I mean, you like your whole career. It's like, okay, well, if I'm gonna get beat, give them a little tug. Sure, it's like whatever yard penalty. It's not a touchdown, right? But I mean, yeah, in that situation, a touchdown's better. You go down 7, but you have like over a minute and a timeout there to get on the field. And you bring up a good point, Mike. Again, like calling the timeout on second down or on third, or second down. Sorry, like, and I get it because they had enough to do it on second and third, but it just sucks because if you don't call it there, and I know it's a completely different game, more time goes off the clock, but having versus one, when the penalties called, because you would have called one after that play, but since it went dead, you obviously would have had that in your pocket too. So I don't know. Yeah, the timeout management questionable, and you also bring up a good point, or you did a little while ago with the whole Sky Moore thing. It's funny because you want him to score, but you almost don't want to make it too obvious. Like even if, or not Sky Moore, sorry, McKinnon, sorry. Like even if in his head he's knowing that, but like I feel like just by nature, people running after you, like you want to outrun them, right? Like so, I think people kind of giving up. He's like, oh, wait a minute, right? I'm supposed to fall.
Versus exactly,
like, running after him.
Think about it, teammate. Like these players are running towards him, so yelling at him to get down too. I mean, I think he knew what he was doing the entire time. Like
right.
Once he had that much open space, like you said, I think he was like, I'm sliding. He didn't need like the Chiefs to remind him. Like, but still having that reinforcement always helps.
But we saw it with Ahmad Bradshaw too. I mean, like he almost looked like he was trying to. I mean, I don't know if it could have just been like a really like cocky way of getting into the end zone, but he did look like he was trying to sit, and then he's like, "Oh, never mind, we're going over the top."
No, I mean, I think like, can you get yourself to stop on a dime sometimes? Imagine being a pro athlete where you run twice as fast and you have pads on, like.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like I think even like if you try to catch yourself at the one and you're like, "Not too late." Like I'm going in. So yeah, because that's like one, like chasing him, maybe it makes him forget, like, oh, I got to try to get to get to the goal line here. Like that's just like how your brain's programmed. And two, if he does stop, like like bump his ass into the end zone. Like you, like again, either give him a nudge or pick him up and throw him, like you were saying. It's tough though. I mean, he probably ends up making the right play there anyway, but I mean, you just gotta almost try to like chase him into the end zone or throw him into the end zone. So, but again, he obviously makes the right decision there to get down, and then easy field goal for Butker to put it through, and then like I said, the Mac Jones throw out of Jalen Hurts to end the game. I want to think something slipped. Like that seems not normal. We know Hurts is a pretty good arm, so
yeah. Or the injury kind of. I know he was able to throw the ball pretty well, but I think even like the Brown touchdown and like both 45 yards like that. I think he could get the ball like 50 yards downfield. Or that one he was like got to really muscle up for 70, and it probably was like, oh no, like he probably cocked it back too much, like with his hurt arm, like. So that was tough.
Yeah, and I mean, I just can't say it. I mean, like I said, congrats to the Chiefs. They put a great game in an impeccable second half. Their offensive line. I mean, it's funny, Mike. I feel like all these 2 weeks we were maybe even further back when we're talking about the championship games. Like, I feel like the units we talked about in the trenches were the D line of the Chiefs, the D line of the Eagles, and the O line of the Eagles. We didn't talk about the O line of the Chiefs, and they are the unit that probably had the best game out of all of those. Keeping Mahomes clean, no sacks, and then they obviously allow the Chiefs, like they didn't not score on any drive in the second half. So I mean, really a lot of credit to that offensive line unit that maybe didn't get the praise it deserved this year.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Fletcher Cox, 1 tackle. Hassan Reddick, 1
Yeah,
tackle.
they led the league in sacks.
Wet, 1. Sue goose eggs, and Jordan Davis goose egg. I don't even see Robert Quinn, their big pickup, on this list. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to give them credit.
Yeah, I mean, you could give them credit. There's also the Sodgate going on.
Sodgate, yeah. Well, before we get to Sodgate, I really got to give it to Jalen Hurts, man. I mean, I've been a big Jalen Hurts fan. Pretty much like once he kind of got into the league, I was like, I was happy that, despite everything that went down in college, he was able to, get a spot and actually get a chance to start. And I was like, not only doing that, leading his team to this record, he only lost 1 game as a starter in the regular season, and then puts up this performance, which is good enough to win in a lot of situations. Again, their defense, plays even mediocre in the second half, and they very well might win this game. And he was like, okay, again, Mahomes was awesome, and I'm never going to, take anything away. But again, obviously, well-deserved MVP, MOP, or something might be Jalen Hurts. Just he was outstanding in this game. Probably one of the best performances. I mean, obviously Brady had his against the Eagles, but I mean, probably one of the better performances we've seen in a loss in Super Bowl history. Really, just a fantastic outing from him. Again, that one bad play, which really sucks, but he did so much outside of that it doesn't erase it. But I mean, like, I came away more thinking how awesome he was in that game versus like, oh, he let up a touchdown that kind of brought the Chiefs back in it.
Yeah, I was even seeing some clips from the Kelsey podcast, and there's both of them saying like he could have argued that he was the MVP of the game in a loss.
I know. I almost pulled the Jerry West there, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, it was good. I think everyone's just happy for him. Kind of just a lot of. I know he always had the talent. Like he was a true freshman starter at Alabama, but he did some adversity after the championship game, and then coming in the league as people questioning him as a 2nd-round draft pick, and him just having an amazing
can only run
almost 400 total yards, 4 touchdowns, and like I mean, just looking at these rushing stats. Like Gainwell looked okay, but Sanders and Scott kind of just didn't look like they had anything in that game. And saying Gainwell was okay, so he was just the entire rushing offense and passing offense. And the games where they scored 35 points, like kudos to him. I don't want any of these arguments that he's only as good as the talent that's around him. As I said, they didn't really ever run a game in this game, and I know he has weapons, but
and I think
outside of the big 3, like Quez Watkins had I'm not going to say that he truly blew that play. It was sort of like the Welker catch in the second Giant loss. It would have been a very tough catch, but it did hit him in the hands type of thing. So like that was like the third receiving option on the team, like him and Zach Pascal. So like I know Smith and Brown are amazing 1-2, and Goddard's. Even Kelsey says he's like needs more targets. He's like, and he's that good.
Goddard's really good.
Yeah, like I'm saying, like I'm not saying that like they don't have like
no, I know
terrible weapons, but he's not getting carried by them at the same time.
No. I think he proved it. Like, yeah. I mean, I would
top 5 to 6 quarterback in this league. I mean, definitely was the 2nd best this year.
Yeah,
of guys who want to build around. Like, I think.
Yeah, and I was saying this to you earlier in the week too. I'm like, I mean, well, one, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad to get this moment. I think there were still people hating or thought he was surrounded by a good team. I think, even someone I follow from high school, our guy Dindam. I think he was kind of saying the same thing. Like Hurts is just like he's on a good team, and then he was like, he watched the game, he was like, I was wrong. Sorry. Like, I awesome in this game. And I was even saying to you earlier in the week. I mean, going through it, and I think it might just be more an indicator of maybe the slight imbalance we have right now. Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC. I can't be convinced of anyone else. Like, especially provided that, I mean, I don't where darkness retreat boy is right now, but depending, I mean, maybe if he comes back to the Packers, the argument's there. I mean, he's still awesome, even in his late 30s now. But provided he's gone, I mean, I can't think of anyone else. I mean, it's Jalen Hurts. I mean, things might play out differently this year, but going off of what we saw this past year, I mean, some decent names out there, but I think he's definitely consensus number 1 in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's. I mean, I think he's. 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 I think I was thinking like he's anywhere definitely top 7. Like the only other 6 I include was
They're all the
top,
AFC.
top 6 seeds in the league last year. Like of course including Lamar for Huntley, but
Yeah.
the Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, and Lawrence. So
Yeah, I might put him like
I
4.
think
Yeah, I don't even know.
think it goes. I think it goes like Mahomes, giant drop, Burrow, giant drop, and the other 5. I like all consider the same conversation.
Yeah, maybe Allen a little higher up there, but yeah, still like.
Yeah, he had some regression this year, but
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's fair.
I mean,
The only thing I'm worried about, though, I'm like, what's that?
Hurts just like I mean, the way if he can keep, if he can do this again next year, like you might even say like he's the second best.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, I don't. The only thing is, I'm slightly worried about something. I'm not going to put anything out there, but like this whole NFC East trend, I'm like something's going to happen, or it's got to finally end, or something weird's going to happen next year with the no back-to-back champions. Because I mean, like the Eagles look like they should be back here. I know they're going to lose they're losing their OC and their DC here, but I mean, you got the guys around you. I mean, they have a good team. Like you said, you shouldn't have to worry about quarterback. I know you have to pay Jalen Hurts, but I mean, you have, Brown, Smith, and Goddard as pass catchers. I mean, who knows what, Jason Kelsey's future is. He very well could have been his last game here. Obviously, we need to bolster the offensive line. But I think when you get to the draft, I mean, I think it really is just, a lot of, the trenches. And some of the guys that they got were good, but are, kind of at the tail end, especially when they picked up, Sue and, who am I blanking on?
Quinn.
No, I thought there was someone. Didn't they have someone? Or did they sign them like the same week? I thought they got Quinn and then
Yeah, they got Quinn a deal, but
they got Quinn a deal. But I thought it was Sue and there was someone else. He was 74, right? Who was 72? Oh, Linval Joseph.
gotcha.
Him too. Yeah.
Well,
I think they signed them the same week.
And also keep in mind they have the Saints pick at 10 too.
Yeah, exactly. So you either take someone up. Yeah, I think you just take someone up there, or else you even trade back, get some more picks out of it. They really showed up this team. I think they should be in a good spot next year. I mean, this is a talented team. So yeah, maybe just showing up that defense with some younger pieces, but yeah, again, team that should be back and in contention. And again, what we think is, I think what we will say is an inferior NFC. But and just going back to Hurts quick, I mean, credit to Mahomes too for saying that. I mean, I know a lot of guys might do this, but in his post game, just saying like, if there's any doubters out there, like I don't know how there's any of you left because Hurts literally just put on this game here. So I appreciate Mahomes saying that about Hurts and everything, because I think you can just see like the respect they have for each other, and how they had different great games, but I mean both showed why they're at the top of the league here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, again, it was, kind of looking at I know you mentioned, maybe seeing some clips from the podcast, but I mean, really great moment for both Kelsey's and their mom. And I saw them kind of getting emotional today, talking about how they were so happy she had that moment all week, really. She was kind of like the big star of the week and everything. So that was definitely nice to see from all of them. So, yeah, shout out to all the Kelsey's on that one. But, yeah, I mean, I said Chiefs, again, they're the champs now. I think it is crazy to say this because so much can change, but I mean, I'll be, I don't even want to say a hater. I just want to be kind of move away from recency bias. I still think Mahomes has some work to do to be number 2 all time. Am I a hater for saying Mahomes is the 3rd best quarterback of all time? It's the real question.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can definitely, he's on the project. Like, it's like, it'll be like, it's tough when he's like 27 still. And
yeah, no, I know. I'm saying that's what's crazy. And again, I do agree with the take though. If he retires today, he's a Hall of Famer, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, I have I'm not to say rings are everything, but like, I mean, I do have, and I never watched the guy play. I have a hard time putting Mahomes ahead of Montana now, but I've no doubt in my mind he can very well get there. Obviously, it's a huge hill to get to where Brady is.
I think even one more. Like,
yeah, I know. As long as he's not like, missing the playoffs like in big chunks or, has a huge gap. I mean, he got, 3 appearances and 2 wins in his first 5 years as a starter. Like you said, he's 27, providing, knock on wood, health and everything. That's without even thinking 10 years, like that 10 to 15 years, if he's able to stay healthy, and he already has 2. So you have to think that he's definitely on the path to getting there. But I mean, I won't get too much into rankings, but I think he's definitely in that upper echelon of quarterbacks, both just how good they are, and also now having the rings to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then, yeah, I mean, we could talk about the whole Bradbury thing today, and it's funny because you can kind of, again, credit to him for kind of owning up to it. But the whole thing with Juju, I mean, I don't know. I've liked Juju in his career. I think he hasn't been everyone's favorite, but I don't know. I did think it was a little lame. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, I get being able to gloat. You're a champion, and he had a good game. I forget what his stats were. I think he had. Oh, you probably have it up here, right? Yeah, 7 receptions, 53 yards. So I mean, he could talk that talk from this game, and I just think it's weird when Bradbury like owned up to it, like said like, yeah, I made a mistake. Like he had me beat. I did what I was taught to do besides the whole clock situation and grabbed him. And I think it was just a weird move for him to do that. Again, I think you should be able to talk your talk, but that just seemed like a little bit of a weird one there.
I'm gonna completely disagree with you there.
Okay, all right.
I had zero problem with that. I was more just like, huh, that's funny. Like the Valentine's Day thing, like all the social media teams are making about their teams. So he just made one.
Oh, if the Chiefs did it, I'd feel different. I don't know.
What like when else are you supposed to talk? He literally just won the Super Bowl, and everyone like there's a time to do it. Like, and he said actually you've been there before. He's never been there before.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. I mean, like I think there's ways
I
like
consider what the Eagles did worse.
Go ahead.
I've heard that online. Like half the team like replied to it and made jokes about it.
So yeah, no, I see your point on that. That makes sense. I mean, like
after spending 2 weeks yelling at the Niners for being like you lost, shut up, like because they were saying that they're fluky, and now the Niners are kind of parading online. But at the same time, like I agree with the Eagles when they're like, just shut up, you lost, like haven't get it next year. If you win, you can talk all the crap you want. So I have zero problem with what Juju did. Happy for him. Like.
Oh no, I'm happy. Well, like I said, I think there's like things. I mean, like being cocky at the parade and all that's like I'm yeah. Like you said, talkers. I just I don't know. It seemed a little weird to me. You do bring up a good point though between the Philly players and fans. Like they probably reacted worse, the other way about it. So I definitely agree with you on that. Like I said, I don't feel like I have a major problem with that. I guess it just like, I don't know. But I don't know. That convinced me. I don't know. Whatever. I just that was a little weird. That's almost a little weird, but I don't have a major issue with it. And then yeah, I mean, it looked like they had a great time today. Mahomes just down in beers in front of right next to Matt Nagy, which I'm sure was great for Bears fans to see the coach they had that failed them and the quarterback that they could have had instead of Mitch Trubisky. So sure, a lot of Bears fans were kind of not too were not too happy seeing that one. But I mean, like I said, great for them. I mean, Mahomes had the belt on and everything. I guess it was slamming beers and all that. So definitely it's like a great time for the Chiefs over there.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe coming off some things that he took during the game on Sunday too.
Oh yeah, what was the perk 5,000?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, that halftime probably
on the Gary Payton diet.
Oh God. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that extended halftime had to help them so much. I mean, he had like an hour between coming out a little early in the first half, setting up the show, having the show, taking everything down. But yeah, I mean, hey, do it any way you can. But yeah, like I said, overall, great game overall. Again, wish it could have ended a little more exciting, but at the end of the day, we did see 73 points scored in this game, and just really great showing from both teams. So both had great seasons, and Chiefs just showed why they're really the top dog right now.
Yeah, and lasting comment. Definitely, I know we gave Juju his praise and Tony and Sky Moore, but I'm Pacheco, 7th round draft pick out of Rutgers, just 5 yards of carry, getting that touchdown. Like I had a good feeling about him going in, and he proved me right. So happy about that.
And that was once again a situation where was that list of like the top rushers in the Super Bowl, how much money they're making? It's like no more than like I think the most in the last like 10 years is like $2 million or something like that. Like
it's insane. Money with the Bucks, he's making $2 million.
Yeah. It's insane.
So
it just shows you the yeah.
It was like him, Damian Williams, like LeGarrette Blount, like 5 times.
Yeah. Who else would have been on there? So was it last year? Was it Akers or I don't even know who would have been last year, but
Henderson.
Oh, might have been Henderson actually. Yeah. But yeah, it shows you the roster construction. And also credit to, I mean, another testament to Mahomes too. I mean, a lot of people take that money and then they'll blame it on not being surrounded by talent. I mean, they obviously let Tyreek Hill go or traded him, obviously. So is Kelsey again, top 2 tight end of all time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was by like 6% or 5 or 6%, the highest percentage of a cap from one player to win the championship. I think the previous high was 12%. He makes 17% of the cap. So, credit to him with working with what's around him.
Though I am agreeing with you on this. I hate the ones that's like, Mahomes without a top receiver.
Like, oh yeah.
No. I know you like it's. I think you're overlooking this giant name here. Like
who? Mr. Kelsey there.
Yeah, number 87.
Yeah, and then on top of that too, I mean, like I feel like Juju, like he didn't sign like a crazy. I mean, again, not that he had like the best year ever, but I mean, like he was good for a few years there, and I don't think he signed for too much money. So you get guys that also take those. Yeah, you get guys that take those discounts too.
Hey, MVS is the MVP maker.
Jeez, where was he in this game? Did he? Yeah, I'm sorry. And then, Miko didn't play either, right? Because he had his kid.
Well, he was hurt.
Or was he hurt too? It was hurt too, right? Okay. I think I knew he was hurt, and then like I got overshadowed by that, obviously. But yeah, that's and also Mike. Before we wrap up on the Chiefs too, I just I hope the entire country feels stupid because no one thought they were going to win the Super Bowl this year. No one, not a single person. Every single person doubted them.
Yeah, I thought that was the Kirby Smart the school. I mean, I do get where they're coming from. Where like this was the year that everyone was like, Chargers will get over the hump, and then
Broncos country.
Adams to the Raiders, Wilson to the Broncos. That it was the very trendy thing, and a lot of analysts picked other teams to win that division. So, the bet I had, it was plus 210 for them and the Chargers to be in the top 2 of the division, and it's just like,
yeah,
I get where they're coming from, or like, I think they're putting it the wrong way. Like, no one believes in us. I would have been like, yeah, everyone thought that people were gonna take our throne, but like we're still like if they put it that way, I would have been like, okay.
Yeah, or like then now like
it's like a lot of people like they're like, hey, a lot of people didn't even think we're gonna win our division, but now we're here. Like that would be like the best way to talk trash now.
Yeah, and then even like the Mahomes, like today he was talking about like rebuilding. I'm like, I don't even think you were rebuilding. This was like a retool. Like when you have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce on offense, like I don't think you're really rebuilding at any point. Like even if you're cleaning house everywhere else, that's a rebuild.
I think they probably have specific quotes for probably like April 30th NFL Live, or like they just traded Tyreek Hill. You can argue it's rebuilding. Like they're rebuilding that offensive core. Like
yeah. But yeah, no, I just thought that was funny. But hey, whatever it takes.
Yeah, I was gonna say the month between they drafted Pacheco and Sky Moore, and they didn't have Tony yet. Like,
yeah, that's true. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if it gets you there, it's just funny to then say after. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, if you can use that as motivation, great. But I mean, like after the game, like, what are you talking about?
I agree. Kelsey, what are you doing?
Yeah. But I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, from the game, or from thoughts on.
I just want to quickly shout out Nick Bolton, led the team in tackles with a big touchdown. Apparently, he was like the one token player on defense, like Dave Ciccarelli. Apparently, that was like the KC chief, like Twitter is like, "Oh, we hate Nick Bolton," but
him and I'm already forgetting who.
Just the nickel over Patriot.
Oh, Logan Ryan. Logan
Ryan and Kyle Arrington. But
I hated Kyle Arrington too.
I mean, he was god awful in that Seahawks game, but he was right there. He was wrong about Logan Ryan. But yeah, I mean, just almost 10 tackles, 8 solo, almost 2 touchdowns. I think they made the right call on that Sanders play, but it could have went the other way. So
yeah, Yeah.
Shout out him.
Thoughts on Rihanna?
Solid show. I mean, I clearly was pregnant, but
Yeah. Congrats. Yeah.
I think it was a very even like not before I get into Rihanna. I think she had a great. The directing that Fox did was pretty good too. Like they really picked up the entire show really well. Like the pan out Diamonds at the end was really good. I mean, she just had nothing but hits, and she just played the hits. She didn't have to bring anyone out because she had so many hits. She didn't do it.
She did bring. She did have a guest.
Who? Okay.
Yeah. But I think she said that like I'm gonna have she like teased that I'm gonna have like a special like guest, whatever. I think it was a good performance. I mean, I've seen some people being like, oh, like maybe not like the best, like like expect a little better. I think that's fair too. I mean, obviously, given she probably wasn't moving around as much, but I think I mean, like the show didn't even need to be incredible just because of the so many bangers, right? Like I mean, it's just like you're hearing like, oh yeah, okay, I know the song, I know it's fun, I know like everyone knows all these songs. So I think even if it wasn't like the flat, like again, it was still a good show, I think. But I mean, yeah, the catalogs just speaks for itself. It kind of bopped everything there. I mean, I was in that we hosted.
I never think ahead with the whole like I obviously like I had a really good feeling about Disturbia and like after like 3 songs, like Mike, I don't think your song is gonna play. I'm like, exactly. It was either gonna be the opening song or it wasn't gonna show up. Like I was saying that from the get-go.
Well, how about mine? I knew that the show was gonna get bookended with Diamond, and it did. So like it ended, and I just like go to the room because we were all kind of making like side comments. Everyone here like, oh, what's your pick? What's your pick? And then it ended. I'm like, see, Diamond last, just like I said. So, but no, it was a good time. And then I was in and out a lot just because we were hosting and like getting food ready and everything. I mean, shout out Caitlin. She kind of made a lot of the we made some cheesesteaks, but it was kind of like a third quarter thing just because we had so many like chips and everything before. So, but I was in and out a lot with like other stuff. So, commercial wise, I mean, I think some people were a little hard on them. I mean, like there weren't any like that were outstanding, I think, but I'm a big fan of the Caddyshack one. I mean, that's always fun to kind of see people recreate or like I'm doing a recreate thing there. And the 2B one obviously fooled a lot of people. I think I was completely out of the room for that because I didn't notice that at all. Yeah,
well,
a few fun ones there. I don't know if it stuck out to you.
Well, that one didn't fool anyone.
Oh yeah,
watching on a Target TV that's never Roku. I saw Tubi like just isn't what my TV does. Like,
yeah.
I mean, me being a Breaking Bad fan, that was the Popcorners one was pretty good.
Yeah,
like the Will Ferrell one where he was like in Stranger Things.
Oh wait, which one was that? Oh, Will, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was good. How about
even though I hate the Your Cousin from Boston guy, I like that one just because of KG.
Because I'm fine, KG alone, but yeah, I hate it because like, well, it didn't help too because like Caitlin had seen like those shirts on like Instagram. Like, these are the dumbest shirts of all time.
I just like KG.
And I'm thinking what else. I like the one. I can't remember if it was DraftKings or the Kevin Hart one where they were kind of like looping in sentences, like saying someone's name at the end of a sentence, and like they would show up. And that was kind of cool. I think Shaq ended up in that one. I'd have to go back and watch it again. I just remember it being like end a sentence with like really leading it. It let in really well. And then the one that hit late that I think a lot of people in the room were fans of were the John Travolta, Zach Braff, and Faison one.
Oh yeah, it was also I like the triangle one with Jack Harlow and Elton John.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that one was good. Yeah. That was funny.
Well, it was also really funny because like just hearing it was funny just listening to like the sports radio and they're talking commercials and like I think Bedard was like, "Am I supposed to know who Jack Harlow is? That was a stupid commercial." It's like, well, we know who Jack Harlow is. It was a good commercial.
Well, no, you're just old, man.
Yeah, he was like, "That was a terrible commercial. Like, who is this guy?" And I'm just like, okay, I think like 95% of the country are probably just like, it's both of them. Like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I know. The younger people. Who's this old man on the piano? No. Or on the triangle piano.
In the room, there was a lot of that. Well, I think the most underrated part about the Tubi commercial was before it was the minute-long Jesus commercial. I went right from Jesus to Tubi, and I was like, I saw it online blowing up. I'm like, I have no idea which one. It was like, oh fuck that commercial. I'm like, which one?
Which one? Yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny because, well, one, the one came up later on. I literally was like, it's tough because there's no good point since you want to watch the commercials. Like, there's no good point to like get up and like, I go to the bathroom. And then I saw like the first 2 seconds of like the second Jesus commercial. I'm like, oh, Jesus commercial. And I just went to the bathroom. Like, I caught it before everyone else. But then I also liked our guy Hooley this week being like, where can I buy this Jesus that they keep trying to sell me? Where can I buy it? The thing that sucked too, actually, was that my TV like buffered in the first half, or like the first quarter even. And if it was a traditional game, I would just like fast forward because I could tell I was like more behind than I usually am. But I'm a room full of people watching commercials, so I couldn't even fast forward it till they were like talking at halftime. You know what I mean? It's like I couldn't even. So the second half was a little better, but I was like a good amount in the first half. But yeah, I mean, good time overall. Good. I always have a few people over and everything.
Yeah,
you said you
my
hosted,
only
right?
Yeah, it was a very chill event. I have some friends trying to stay sober, show a trip next weekend. So it was a very, very tame event. The only thing, my only one complaint was that I ordered a chicken parm calzone and it came without marinara sauce. And I ordered a side of marinara that didn't come too. So it was basically just like cheesy bread with chicken.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm in the middle of a complaint. I'm in the middle of a complaint. Hoping to hear back soon.
Wait, did you say you didn't drink in the Super Bowl?
Oh, I did. A couple of us did.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute. What are you, Ted Halverson, Super Bowl over there? No, yeah.
I think there's seven of us. There's only two of us. It was a 2 for $7.
All right.
Well,
Respect the game.
Two purposely already drank during the day. Tarby showed up and he was like, "I drank all my beer and I just don't feel like going to the liquor store." And then another person, Jack, drove to New Hampshire to bet legally to get a cash bonus, and he never got a cash bonus. So he didn't really get here till like right before the game. He was always just like, "I'm."
Everything. I mean, I still have so much like. I mean, people brought their own stuff, but I had so much left over from like my party. I'm just like, yeah, Bill Burr. I got this pumpkin shit in the back if you want. No, but yeah, it's funny because we had no idea how many people were even coming till like Saturday night because we had another friends thing Saturday. So at one point, like we're gonna have like 3 or 4 people, and it ended up being like I think at one point 9 people here. So again, not huge, but like about as much as our living room can handle. Yeah, good time.
Like
we get to just
7 was a good bring back.
Yeah. And then had some leftovers, and we had Valentine's Day dinner. So yeah, definitely could use some a break from. I've been full the last few nights here, but yeah, that kind of sums up the Super Bowl as a whole. I know we kind of spent a lot of time on that. We'll probably we'll do another thing over the weekend to kind of talk about some hoops maybe, both college, professional, kind of what else is going on. Just kind of want to maybe do a quick recap, or maybe recap, but so it's just one tonight, a big win in their final game before the break. Marcus Smart came back, was having 6 steals tonight, which was awesome. This coming off of the very much hospital deathbed Celtics. If this were hockey, they would have got a point last night, but again, overtime loss against the Bucks, and I don't know. I mean, it's about as impressive as the loss as it gets when you're a team at this stage of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that our depth's playing well, and gotta feel happy about that. It's gonna come down to the big game. I think at the end of March in Milwaukee to see if the
rubber match. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, because Milwaukee's been on fire. Really, yeah, climbing up the standings there, and then the one thing too is I'm going to throw a quick Celtics thing out there before we wrap up here, and then just kind of get to your final resurface on your college basketball take. I'm just going to go out and say, like, because of what the injury is, and I don't know what the plan is right now, I wouldn't have Dylan playing the All-Star game. It's the flag football version of a game. Like, he's not going to get hit in the face in this game. You know what I mean? If it was a leg, don't even bother. Don't play. Face, no one's going to play defense, and when they do, he'll be out of the game. You know what I mean? Like that's all I'm going to say. I respect Jalen, whatever decision he makes there.
Yeah, if he wants to play, I mean, especially in Missoula coaching, I think he'll be like, if
manage his minutes,
yeah. If Brown wants to play, just to like be on the court and be social, he'll give him like 10, 12 minutes just to.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not a knee injury where I'm like, no, don't mess with it. It's like he got hit in the face. No one's going to be.
It's not Kemba and his knee, and Nick Nurse is going to play him for 42 minutes. It's.
Jeez, yeah. So that was just kind of a.
Yeah, we can get
thought I had there.
Saturday.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to bring that up because I didn't know if there was going to be a decision made between now and then. Yeah, we'll talk about Tatum 3-point stuff on Saturday. And then just one final thing here before we wrap up, Mike. You're right again. The number one team goes down on the road. So give me your point that every team stinks.
Which one? Which one since our last talk?
Oh, right. That's true. It has happened twice. I meant the current one that happened no more than an hour ago, where Alabama goes down on the road again against the number 10 team country, Tennessee. But I did forget that. Well, because, no, I thought we talked about it. Because when did Purdue lose?
Sunday.
I thought it was Sunday. Oh yeah. Jeez.
I was thinking that was earlier in the Celtics game. I was like, oh, what a flip between. I didn't even know they were playing.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll dissect more of where we're at this point in the calendar and kind of what we have for even Saturday slate. I know we have a top 10 Big 12 matchup on Saturday, which we kind of get to then. But I know we've kind of spent a lot of time here. So yeah. Anything else you wanted to hit on, Mike, before we wrap up?
Just quickly, some breaking news is that
it's
a Sean Payton defensive coordinator hire. Sexy Rexy.
No way. What? All right. This is one of those go to the top of the news feed situations.
Well, it was a half hour ago. I was just looking at my phone.
Oh, damn. Yep. How did that not pop up? I got the ESPN bottom line up. How is that? That's pretty noteworthy news. Like, I mean, say what you will. I mean, head coach twice. I mean, he hasn't gone back, and it's been a long time since he's coached, right? Since he's been with Buffalo. So. All right, I'm here for it. So yeah, we can. Good job. He's got a little breaking news.
Another breaking news. I got
okay.
I just got my refund for the messed up calzone. So.
Oh, all right. What a journey this podcast was. Even just in the last 10 minutes, that couldn't have been better timing. That's so awesome. So this refund and
so.
What's that?
Yeah, apparently I missed a lot. I'm looking at my phone the past hour. So.
Can't beat it. What a way to go out here. So yeah, I guess we'll be back on Saturday to cover some more hoops, talk about All-Star Weekend in Utah. Have the usual festivities, rookie/celebrity game on Friday, all the contests on Saturday, and the big game on Sunday, where they're doing the draft right before. So we'll kind of get into that this weekend. But yeah, had a great Super Bowl. Sad that football's over. Going to be a few months, but now we turn the calendar. We have some hoops going on. Already excited for March Madness about a month from now, and before we know it, baseball's around the corner. So yeah, great football season, great Super Bowl. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Hope everyone's enjoying their week, and we'll see you all this weekend.